how significant is this Gulf tour in the context of U.S. foreign policy under President Trump's second term?
Yes. Well, thank you for having us today. And as we have noted, Trump's trip to the Middle East is historic. This is a pivotal moment for American and Middle Eastern relations. And indeed, this is a pivotal moment for the entire world. This is the first time that we're seeing so many actors on the foreign stage with the American president. And all of these issues, Ukraine, Gaza, Palestine, these are all at the forefront. And this trip, indeed, the next few days are going to set the tone for decades to come. As you've noted, Trump's snub of Netanyahu is significant because this marks a shift not just in American foreign policy. This is also an acknowledgement that our policy of the last several decades, perhaps the last 30 years, has been geared not towards an America first or even a peace first or even global interests first. Our foreign policy has really been dictated by individually Netanyahu and his cabinet. And it seems like this is the first president that has really been able to, the American people hope, really been able to break free of the donor class in Washington, break free of the grip of the military-industrial complex, and actually look towards a future where America can cooperate with all of our trading partners and build on a foundation of military cooperation, economic cooperation, and truly work towards peace at home for all nations and prosperity abroad by shared economic trade and shared common interests. So this is a pivotal moment for the world, and the American people really just hope that Donald Trump can continue on this path. We see his earlier flip-flops, his earlier reversals of position may have been due to the internal battle within his cabinet. We saw that the neocon warmonger wing, such as Mike Waltz, Sebastian Gorka, Keith Kellogg, have been battling against the voices calling for restraint, such as J.D. Vance, Tulsi Gabbard, and Steve Witkoff. And indeed, we've seen every time Trump has appeared to make a little bit of progress. For example, when Steve Witkoff sent Adam Bowler to negotiate directly with Hamas, that was the point at which the Netanyahu escalates the situation on his end, breaks the ceasefire, and essentially takes action to reverse the progress.
Yeah, I get your point here. Yes, I want to elaborate more, but I want to go now, if you allow me, Mrs. Ginger, to Dr. Osman now. How are Gulf leaders interpreting President Trump's renewed outreach, especially after the strained relations of recent years?
I think that the Gulf leaders of the three, first of all, thank you for having me, Hala, and greetings to you.
Always a pleasure.
Well, I think that the Gulf leaders, of course, are looking forward to this ongoing summit with the arrival of President Trump today, rather, in Riyadh, and they think that it's a good chance to reinvigorate the U.S. Gulf partnership, namely Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Qatar, the three most significant foreign policy actors in the Gulf region and in the Arab world in general. They have a multitude of multifaceted interests with the United States. I think that primarily their main concern is ensuring that the United States grants them future security guarantees that will ensure stability in the Gulf region, the geostrategic security, and of course, the security of the oil markets and the oil supplies. It is one of the major energy suppliers of the world, the Gulf region is, and Trump has a vested interest in securing U.S. interests over there to preserve stability within the energy market, but also this extends to the Gulf's concern regarding the Palestinian-Israeli issue or cause and the situation in Gaza. Even though it comes second, in my opinion, yet they are pushing very hard in order to obtain some sort of concession from the Israelis, from the Israeli side, that would be more favorable to the Palestinians. And I think that Trump did show that he can deliver that, at least partially, with the release of Aidan Alexander through a direct deal between the United States and Hamas. And reportedly also, before Trump came to visit, he announced he reached a ceasefire deal with the Houthis, and he stabilized the southern region of the Red Sea. And this did not include Israel. Israel is still susceptible to bombing from the Houthis without any meaningful U.S. protection. And also, he reportedly, according to at least American and Israeli media sources, Trump does not communicate directly with Prime Minister Netanyahu anymore. And it seems that they have some sort of impasse in the relationship, or at least very high levels of tension. However, just my final point, does this mean that we are witnessing a qualitative shift in U.S. foreign policy with regards to the Middle East and the United States security commitment and unconditional support for Israel? I don't think so. And this is where I disagree with Mrs. Chapman, even though I agree with more than 90% of what she said about how unorthodox Trump is and how he departed entirely from the establishment foreign policy parameters. However, when it comes to Israel, I do not see that deep change, at least yet, and I do not expect it. And I would be very surprised and delighted if it happened.
Okay. Mrs. Ginger, what role does the Gulf Cooperation Council, GCC summit in Riyadh play in this historical visit, as you described it?
Well, the Gulf Cooperation Council plays an important role. As we have seen, Trump is a man of action. He likes a deal. And the cooperation of Islamic states and the Gulf states this shows that Trump has a willing dealing partner to come to the table and work through these important issues. And my colleague does raise a very important point. Does this signify a shift in relations with Israel? We see that Trump is extending the olive branch. He is trying to overcome our past intransigence with our Arab partners, and we are trying to establish positive relations looking towards the future. Trump is very forward-looking. And the point with Israel, this is a long-standing point of contention within the United States. There has long been an opinion in many parties that Israel exerts an outsized influence on our foreign policy. And in honesty, the American government has a network of high-level dual Israeli citizens, Zionists, that occupy high executive offices within our administrative agencies. And this is a problem that the United States, the American public is only now coming to terms with. And one of the things that we are hoping with President Trump is that he can reclaim our foreign policy from Israeli influences and get back to an America First policy where we do not have an unnatural affection for any one country, but we have even-handed dealings as an honest broker with all countries.
That he is capable of doing